And so, my dear ones, here we are, moving quite quickly along through this great month of ours that we're living in right now. And again, the theme, of course, this month is energy rising, cosmic conscious energy rising in human minds and human hearts and all that is alive and living. And everything is alive and living. So this is a very big thing that you and I are focused on and concentrating on this month. And so I'm trusting that everybody's doing well with this, no matter what's going on in the outer world. Now listen, the outer world is full of distractions and genuine reasons why we get focused on other things through all kinds of lack, all kinds of limitation, all kinds of ailments and so on that assail us as human beings. And that is why as human beings we have to remember the human being part of us is the small part of us, and the spiritual being is the greatest part of us, and that's what from whence we can draw our strength. Because the spiritual aspect of our being is simply the great creative power in form as a human being. For some reason, that's our experience right now. For some reason, that's what we chose to have as an experience right now. To be a human being experiencing what it is to be that human being and at the same time stay connected with the true essence of our being, consciousness, energy, power, unity, harmony, oneness, and all of that. Because the great dynamic of conscious consciousness is a unified state of being. And that's what you and I are called to, and that's our focus this month. So as we move as a human being, a human entity, a human demonstration of a spiritual energy in physical form, we get all kinds of distractions and all kinds of deviations and all kinds of spiritual forgetfulness, as I call it, spiritual amnesia we fall into too much of the time. Because we're so preoccupied with thinking that we are human beings and forgetting that that's the lesser part of ourselves and that the true essence of ourselves is to be aware of our spiritual consciousness and dynamic power. Dynamic power. Ernest Holmes says that all of life is full of conscious energy. Universal life is universal energy, he says. And it is that which lives and moves and has its being in everything. And he says that's the mystical understanding of that biblical phrase, in him I live and move and have my being. That it's this power and this energy that is a palpable, felt energy, a presence, not a person, but a presence, a very palpable presence. And in the beginning, when we understand that there is no sky god, there is no man in the sky that is a superpower, like a super being. Indeed, it is the presence out of which superpowers seem to appear, or super beings seem to appear. That would be to have a very, very limited concept of what a god is, to put them into a human form and to think of them as an entity. It's not an entity, it's an energy, it's a presence, and it's pervasive, and it moves and lives and has its being in everything and everyone, and it moves everything and everyone, and through everything and everyone, and is available to everything and everyone in its full potency. There is a power for good in the universe, says Ernest Holmes, greater than you are, greater than I am, and we can use it, and we do use it, and it uses us. The whole secret is to use it consciously. To command the law is what we are capable of doing, but only for good, and toward good and from good. Because if we endeavor to command the law in any negative way, that comes right back and kicks us up the rumpus. That's a boomerang effect, and we don't want that. So this kind of call to rising up in energy is so essential right now as we're cusping and transitioning into a new way of being, into a whole new sense, a whole new awareness of what it is to be an energetic being in a material experience of life. And there is no going back to what was. There is no going back to what was normal. The normalcy that we were experiencing was greatly limited and greatly inefficient and greatly not doing what true conscious consciousness can do. Unify us, advance us, expand us, rise up in us, and raise us up. Into what? Into a much more wondrous way of being, into producing a world of liberty, equality, justice, safety, and provide a good life for everything and everyone. That's what it can do, and that's what we're cusping into, is what I'm knowing. And it only takes a quantum number of us to know that, and to work with that, and to be in unison with that, and to be in alignment with that, to make it happen. So that one day all of us wake up and we're in the same mode of operandus. We're all moving, living, and having our being according to unity and harmony and the understanding that we are all one. We are all one. The amazing and wonderful Howard Thurman once said, "Don't be concerned about what the world needs. Find out, discover what you love to do and do it. And come alive in it. For what the world needs is for you to be alive. Alive, awake, aware, conscious. Knowing what you're thinking, knowing what you're feeling, knowing what you're doing, know who you're being. That's all the world needs, is you, is me, to be alive in our living. Consciously awake, consciously alert, consciously tuned in, consciously connected, consciously engaged. Curious, open and receptive to the moreness of life, the bigness of life, the greatness of life, the energetic of life. So the question is today, what does any of this mean to me? As Ernest Holmes said, we're not going to get to it through the books that we read, the classes we take, the studies that we do, the spiritual practices even. We're only going to get it by being what we have learned and absorbing it and embodying it and then moving out from it in the way we think, feel, move, and have our being and live and connect. It's a big thing, you see. It's an unlimited thing. It has nothing small in it. There's nothing of a dark energy in it. There's nothing of negativity in it. There's nothing to do with lying and cheating and thieving and grabbing and getting in it. There's none of that in it. And as long as any of it is in us, we're not open and receptive to what we could be, to who we are and what we are. And so that's what all the great ones have said. Know who you are. That's what Ernest Holmes has said all the time. Be who you are. Be open, be receptive. Invite that power and that presence to express itself through you in the way you think, in the way you feel, in the way you live, in the way you are, in the way you show up, in the way you move through this life. There's no other way. We can't be hiding and cringing and Uriah epishness and doing that, and pretending to be one thing when we're another. And it was, I think I heard, who was it I heard say that? Brene Brown, I think it was. When people speak, they're seldom saying what they're actually thinking. When people speak, they're seldom saying what they're actually thinking. I used to go to the Western movies. I loved them as a child. And when they showed Native Americans in the movies, when they had dealings with the white man, they would often say, and it stuck in my mind as a child, white men speak with forked tongue out of the two sides of his mouth. What you're thinking is not necessarily what you're saying. Something to think about for ourselves in the way we share and in the way we speak. Is what we're saying true? Is what we're saying really what we're saying and thinking? Or something else? And that's not because we're bad. I don't believe that. It's because we're confused and frightened and scared and afraid, and we've lost the sense of ourselves. We've lost ourselves, and we don't know how to find ourselves. We don't know who we are. We're in amnesia, spiritual amnesia. And so we do the best that we can do. And the best can be very small indeed at times and big at other times. So all of this coming together and all of our reading and all of our studying and all of our lectures and seminars and so on avail us very little if what we do catch in consciousness from all of that activity, and there's much we do catch, is not absorbed, not embodied, and then not acted upon. Not acted upon. Doesn't change us. Because rising up means to change, to rise up out of what was into something what we now know can be. And at this time in our lives, never for such a long time on this plane was that required or necessary for our transition into a better world, a safer world, a more kind world and compassionate world that affords everybody the opportunity to live and live well. Not just the few, but everybody to live and live well. You see, sooner or better you and I come into the understanding that we are a global community and there's no getting away from it. We're a universal community, if you like, but just to begin with, take care of what's in front of us. We're a global community, and this nationalism has to stop in every country. Yes, we take care of our own, and I've heard people say, well, I'm only concerned about what's going on in this country, and I only like to help out the people in need in this country. And I understand that, and that's good, it's the beginning. But I also remember my mother's words. Charity begins at home, but it should never end there. It should never end there. A child is a child wherever a child is. And a child's needs are as great wherever the child is, whether it's here or there or yonder. And so you and I are responsible for all the children of the world. We're responsible for the how of the energy of the world, how it is. We are energy centers. And what's going on in my energy center and yours is affecting the whole of life, not just this world, but all of creation. The way the energy is working in it, if it's wobbly a bit, it probably is because of all of the collective negativity that's going on at any one given time. Fortunately, however, the dynamic energy of infinite consciousness knows how to rectify itself and keep itself together. It's always the energy of the eye of the storm. The storm cannot affect it. So what is going on in our lives right here and right now when we're pressed down with so many challenges? And we are, and some of us are going through severe challenges right now, and I do not make light or small of that. All I can say is that if those of us who are deeply challenged can just connect with the center core of our being and its awesome, pristine, potent power and energy, and command that to work in such a way for one's own good and the good of all, what would appear to be miracles happen. It takes practice, and it takes careful, constant and continuous support. Can't just hope that it's going to happen. No, you have to do something about it. I have to do something about it. It's, as the piece from Ernest Holmes said today, it's not going to be a book. It's not going to be anything outside of ourselves that's going to take us into that open receptivity to the power that is within us, the infinite intelligence within us, the infinite energy that is within us. It's not going to be that. Now, they may help us. They may help us to approach the well of knowledge. They may help us to open the portal within ourselves, but they cannot do it for us. You and I have to do that ourselves. We have to be confident and assured that this is something that's mine to do. And it's mine to do because I can do it. I'm supposed to do it. And it's there for me to do. It's there for me to do. Yes, that power for good in the universe, that infinite, dynamic, intelligent energy is available to you right now, to me right now, not necessarily just from out there. And the out there sometimes helps us, but most potently from within ourselves, because it resides at the center core of our being, which is filled with the breath of life. And every aspect of our being is filled with the breath of life, which is the power, which is the presence, which is the energy. And it's everywhere. No shortage of it. Unlike an electric car, I don't have to find a plug to plug it into. I am the plug. I am the outlet. And I am the source to allow that power to move through me freely. But I can clog it up and block it up too. You pour sand into a gasoline tank, you're not going to drive your car, I can tell you. So all the negativity is the sand that we pour into ourselves that stops the flow of our creative expression and our ability to command the law toward the good that we desire, and the good that we desire not only for ourselves but for all of life. And the law is not to be demanded from. It's to be commanded, but commanded in a sense of not that forcefulness, but commanded in the sense that you know it's there for you, it works for you, and all you have to do is to know into it the good that you desire, feel into it the good that you desire, be open and receptive for it flowing through you to bring through you and to you the good that you desire, and it will, without any doubt. And that's difficult when we're afraid. And the more afraid we are, the longer probably it will take. It doesn't have to, because there are no waiting rooms in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, we are told, is right here and right now, and the kingdom of heaven is within. That power and that presence is within. You're a portal, I'm a portal, each and every one of us is a portal, and all that lives is a portal, all that is alive. And remember Howard Thurman saying, be alive. Come alive. Be alive, and you'll have all the energy you require and all of the sense and sensibility that you need to move through whatever and to create this great good world for all. If you don't know much about him, look him up. He's well worth researching. An incredible individual who lived with his mother as a small child, who was a slave at one time, and was a beautiful person that worked deliberately all of his life for, equality for everybody, social justice for all, from a sense of spiritual beingness. He always had that sense of spiritual beingness, and he became a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful minister, as well as a spiritual activist in the endeavor to create this world that our community is endeavoring to create, this world of honoring and respecting all of life and coming together in such a way that we can provide an opportunity for every person on the planet to live in safety, security, with the wherewithal to create for themselves a good life. And that's a noble cause. But before you and I can show up to serve, we have to ask ourselves, how is it with myself? What's going on within me? For yes, I can say as my mantra, I show up today in sacred service to create a wonderful world that provides and supports for all of life in a careful, generous, and safe way. But if I don't feel all those things myself, it's going to be a hard struggle for me to help others. So the first thing is to look to myself and ask myself, what is my self-care like? How do I handle myself? How is my mind working? How is my emotional body working? How is my physical body working? What's going on in me spiritually, and how am I taking care of all of that? Because the greater I can take care of it all to thine own self be true, and it follows as night the day, you cannot be false to anyone. Man, know thyself, first words written over any temple that was discovered, you see. So self-care is essential in your spiritual growth and advancement. So it means you and I taking the care to sort out what's not right with the world within ourselves and to do whatever it is we are called to do to make amends, to repair that, to release that, to become our whole selves. And when we are our whole selves, guess what? We're fully alive to our living. We're alive to our living. We're consciously awake and alert and aware. And we're tracking, and everything comes so smoothly into the framework of what is mine to do and what is mine to be, as I place on the table of life what I came to do, my gift, whatever the gift is, so that when I leave this life, I can leave it knowing it is accomplished, it's done. It's wonderful, it's been great, now I'm on to the biggest, next best thing, you see. You're amazingly, amazingly complex in your simplicity, and so am I. But you're amazingly creative, and so am I, and so are all people, and so is all of life. Actually, it was wonderful today learning that to get my energy up and running, all I have to do is absorb the sugar. Because I think all of us are inclined to a lot of sugar. That tree is sweet indeed. But I joke. Aside from that, you have to know that you're the elixir of life as far as life is concerned. And life can't wait to drink up that beautiful substance that you are, that goodness, that intelligence, that beauty, that grace, that uniqueness of gift that you have. Life is waiting for it to be expressed. Life awaits you. And life is ready to support and assist you in realizing your purpose for being here. But we have to trust it, don't we? We have to trust it. Trust it. I rise up today. I rise up today, open and receptive to going forth in sacred service and perhaps being somebody's angel today. Wouldn't it be lovely if we wake up in the morning thinking, today I'd like to be somebody's angel for somebody who needs one? I've often heard people say out there in the world, oh, you're my angel today. And I've said it to others. You're my angel today. And that's what we're here to be, someone's angel. But that we can only be when we know we're angelic in and of ourselves, when we know we're okay in and of ourselves, when we know we're together in ourselves, we're unified in ourselves. And so whatever it takes for you and for me to do that, that is what we must first do. Get ourselves in order, get our lives in order, get our minds in order, our bodies in order, our emotions in order. And the soul then will soar. Life will be that freedom flight, freedom flight. Nothing will hold us down, no more anchors, no more blockages, no more stoppages. And where does it begin? With a desire, with an open receptivity for letting this be so, for getting out of the way and allowing Spirit to come through and guide and lead and support as only Spirit can. And that Spirit is alive in you and in me. It's the center core of your being. So if you listen within, to do that, we must go within. And we must be able to stop all of the noise going on in our minds so that we can create a space to listen to that voice that never stops serenading us, calling us the song of our own lives, calling us to be who we are and what we are. You have it within you, and so have I. And it matters not what your life has been until now. It may have been the most debauched life anyone could imagine. It may have been the most wondrous life anybody can imagine. Nevertheless, that could be all behind if it's not so good. In this now moment, if I change my mind about myself, if I decide to be my own true self, if I decide to be in my own corner and do what it takes to mend and fix and heal wherever seems to need it. And if I don't even know what that is, I will be guided to know what it is. And the way will be made straight before me, and the crooked way will be made straight for me for this to happen. All coming from desire, that deep, deep, deep intention of wanting to break through into the self that I truly am and live from it and be alive in it and show up from it, its power, its energy, that presence that pervades it. Wouldn't that be something to be desired? I think so. I'm sure you do too. That's why we have spiritual communities, so that we can wake up and remember who and what we are and understand that we all belong to each other and that all of life is my concern, but not concern anymore, my field of operation and service. So I'm knowing for you, whatever your state is, that right here and right now you could be open to letting go of everything that holds you back and opening up the portal and letting in everything that supports you, enables you to be all that you are in expression in this lifetime, right here and right now. Yes, you can. And you can because you can say, I am. Therefore, I can. Therefore, I will. Therefore, it is so. And my dear ones, so it is. You're amazing. Now go and amaze yourself. You're the only one that has to amaze you. You. And you can do it. And now, Reverend Catherine is in the wings waiting to share something with us.
This is the moment in our service where we remind ourselves what the mission of Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living is, which is to honor your presence, to nurture your spirit, and to enrich the life of all we serve. And we also are reminded of that when we receive messages like one of these. The pandemic time has had many challenges, but I have managed to use the time to catch up on some things that I had let go. My extended family and I have stayed close, and that has been a wonderful thing. But the new thing is, I also formed a spiritual support team from work that has been a lifesaver for me. I have been supported through a few dark weeks, but I have also had the joy of supporting my team through their dark weeks. We plan to continue this Prayer Plus support as long as we still love it, as we do now. We know that we have each other's support completely. This teaching from this center has brought me through this time, and I am so very grateful.
A beautiful message, Reverend Catherine. And listen, that's possible at any work situation you're in, because this power and this presence and this energy moving and rising in you will then move and rise in your home, will move and rise in your work, will move and rise in your city, will move and rise in your country and in your world. And it'll be felt everywhere in creation. Once you just say yes to it, that's the beginning. Just say yes to the life that lives you. And it will find its way through you to express itself. No separation. Has to be the same when I'm in my own company, in my home, or wherever I am. I have to think and live and move and have my being the very same way, because I can and you can. And that's our challenge. And we're good at taking on challenges, are we not? So thank you for sending in that lovely sharing. We always appreciate hearing from our wonderful listeners and viewers and members. I know that you're very much prayed up. You're very much supported here. And we're here for you however we can be here for you. But I can't say it too often. We don't know how to help you if you don't let us know. If you don't let us know. And it has nothing to do with anything but you having a need and picking up a phone or sending a text or sending an email and saying, help. That's all. That would be a good thing. So now we're going to celebrate all the good we have available to us. And especially in the form of supply, all different kinds of supply. Whether it's friendship, family, whatever that is, where it is experienced, whatever that is. But we always can have that sense of feeling enough, feeling full, having enough and full enough that we can share from what we have to give. And that's what we're doing right now. We're taking our gift, part of our daily bread that we always expect because it's there for us every day. And sometimes it's a big loaf of bread, sometimes it's very small, sometimes it's crumbs, sometimes it's the loaf that comes out of, that oven of Lucille Ball that never stops. Sometimes it's like that, but it doesn't matter what the size is, as long as you and I are willing to take a crumb or two, or a big piece, or a whole loaf maybe, and share it. It's in our nature to share. We can't help ourselves. We're givers. We're givers. We're providers, no matter what. So thank you for all the good that you are responsible for in our world, and it's much. You don't know it at all. You may know a little of it, but not the whole. We take our gift that represents our trust in divine providence, and we hold it and bless it and say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. We rejoice in the sharing of our good, and we release our gift with love. And that's the truth, and so it is. And now we're going to pray. We're going to pray our communal prayer with the energy of wanting only life on this plane to be a celebratory life, a good life. Wanting every person on this plane to discover who they are and know who they are and what they are, so that every person can live a wondrous life. We're going to keep in mind very especially those who are suffering greatly right now for all kinds of reasons, and they are many. They are so many. We're going to know for each one of them because you and I are here together praying as one. One mind, one heart, one body, one soul. For their good, for their healing, for their restoration, for their rising up. And I can guarantee if we pray like that, the sap in them will rise. And life will begin to change for the better because of the power of the Word. And the Word is the energy, the original energy that lives, moves, and has its being in all of us. So this is what you and I can know. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me, and divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life in expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only God, there is only God, there is only God, and that God can show up magnificently by means of you. And so it is. So know until we meet again that we're here for you, however we can. And we're looking forward to opening up in July and coming back together again in that soft opening. It won't be the same as it has been, and don't expect that. But it'll be wonderful, whatever it is, because we will be together and we will be rebuilding again something great, grand, and glorious, and we'll be able to see each other's sweet faces. How good that will be. We're so looking forward to it. So take good care of yourself and know who you are. And if you know who you are, you will take good care of yourself. And not only that, but you'll take care of others, because when you are at peace with yourself, you're at peace with everybody else. It follows as night the day that you cannot but be peaceful with everyone. That's how life works. That's how it is. And that's how you are. So it is. So until we meet again, as the children would say goodbye for now. Later, my dear ones, take care of yourself. Peace on.